Scrumdown and Stone Bitter, bringing you the best in rugby league.
They paid the earth to get the king and pulled off the performance of the season without him, who said Leeds would be a one-man team. There was a one-man show at Central Park on Sunday. It lasted 100 yards and starred John Bentley. The perfect individual try to crown the perfect team performance. Leeds' first win at Wigan for 11 years. And no one will be more delighted than Ellery Hanley that Leeds face Featherstone at Headingley today in third place, above his old club Wigan. They got there not just with the attacking flair we know them for, but with an improvement in this department. Confounding the critics down the years, Leeds can tackle. Indeed, the pack at Wigan, full of unsung names, was outstanding. All 6 forwards topping 30 in the tackle count, with 40 for Roy Powell. Keeping the defence tight is a major aim against Featherstone.
Yeah, the lads obviously happy after last week's performance. We've been working on defence. I'm not sure how they've worked on it in the past, but this season there seems to be emphasis on tackling, the sliding defence, which most sides do now. There's been great emphasis on that. It's a system that you've got to work on each week. If you relax, you'll be in trouble.
There's a new man calling the shots at Featherstone. Alan Agar stepped in when Peter Fox left to coach Bradford. But this is a familiar new man. Last time he arrived, 9 years ago, Featherstone were parading the Challenge Cup within months. A famous triumph founded partly on heroic defence. Now, Agar is watching a Rovers team whose trademark has become high scores at both ends. Tightening up the defence is a priority after 3 successive matches when Rovers have scored 20 points but lost. And this is the result. Featherstone third from bottom, having conceded 70 more points than any other team.
Obviously, when you look at the defensive record, it is the worst in the league, and it's something that we've got to improve upon if we're going to go places.
What have you been doing about it in training?
Well, you can do it as much as you want on the training field. It's once the lads get out on the park, they've got to put it into practice. We do work on it in training, and we're now trying to incorporate a system which we hope will tighten up the defence.
The good news for Alan Agar today is that Chris Bibb returns at fullback after a back injury. Leo Casey plays his first full game for 9 weeks following a broken hand. And Ian Smales is back after missing 7 games with a dislocated shoulder. And hooker Trevor Clark will be hoping to shine, as he has before, against his old club. Leeds have the team who won at Wigan, except that Gary Schofield drops a substitute after playing 80 minutes for Great Britain against Papua New Guinea yesterday. So David Creaser starts at stand-off and Carl Gibson in the centre. With Hanley's shoulder still keeping him out, Gary Devorty continues at loose forward, where he's reviving his sagging career. Later, there's Castleford against last week's heroes Halifax, a third division promotion battle between Huddersfield and Bramley, and the Scrumdown jigsaw. Amazingly, last week's player was identified from the tiny clues we gave you. We'll tell you who he is and give you a new jigsaw. But now it's good afternoon to David Watkins and John Hell.
And good afternoon, and a very quick elevation to the captaincy here for Bobby Goulding. A proud moment for him to lead Leeds out. And he it was who kicked the ball, and it was Paul Newlove who had a game yesterday, of course, at Central Park for Great Britain as well, who fielded it. This is Ian Smales back in and testing that dislocated shoulder of his. Clark. Tutu was in there as well. And it says much for the demands on today's players, David, that people like Newlove and Schofield are here, and Derek Fox, of course, all in action yesterday for Great Britain.
Well, that's right, but they know that their club comes first more often than not, and they know too that points today are precious for both sides.
Fox's kick, fielded by John Bentley. And I'm sure no matter how long John Bentley plays the game of rugby league football, he'll never score a better try than the one he got at Wigan last week.
Well, he's an incredible guy. He's so strong and he does break tackles, and when he does go, he motors quite well, and he did that at Wigan last week.
The man motoring there was Roy Powell. And the first penalty is awarded by referee Ian Ollerton of Wigan to Leeds. Mr. Ollerton only came on the list last year, the first grade list. And it's going to be an attempt at goal by Simon Irving. The first points of a game often important, and Leeds looking for them here.
Well, it is, and it's good captaincy as well by Goulding, because to take this early opportunity is something that Leeds will want a good start. Of course, if Irving does kick it and kicks it far enough and it goes dead, it means that Leeds still have the ball to play with again.
Irving left of your frame, right by the referee, in line with him. It's a reasonably straight kick, but it's a good 45-yarder. And it's got the distance, but has it got the height? It has. It's got the height, it's got the direction, it's got everything, and it's got 2 points for Leeds on the board.
Well, they couldn't wait for a better start than that.
2 points to 0. Malloy, powerful runner. Leeds signed him from Warrington last year. Goulding, Devorty. There's talk of Gary Devorty moving to Wakefield Trinity before the start of the season, but he's still here and playing quite well at the moment. O'Neill looks to get into a gap, looks to get the ball out. Nobody's there to take it from him. Powell. Richard Gunn, an offside, so this should be more points for Leeds. So they can set themselves up now for Simon Irving to add 2 more points. It's going to be a straight kick, and it shouldn't present any problems at all. It looks very straightforward. And Irving makes it straightforward, and Leeds have a 4-point lead. And a warning really there to Featherstone that they can't afford to do things like that in front of their own sticks. O'Neill. I think he's a key man in the Leeds pack, because he is one of those who does get the ball away in the tackle often. Willing runner too. Creaser, now there might be some space. The ball was knocked forward in the tackle by Newlove, and Newlove needs attention immediately. Ian Smales signalled quickly to the bench, and David Sharp, the Featherstone Rovers physiotherapist, has already arrived to apply the treatment to the Great Britain centre.
Let's just watch this tackle here. As he goes in to tackle him here, he catches his elbow at the back there as he knocks him down at the same time. Quite accidental, no malice at all.
Quite a weekend for Paul Newlove, playing for Great Britain against Papua New Guinea yesterday, and on the try sheet there. Paul Newlove's all right happily, but Gary Schofield and Paul Dixon not as yet required, but I think they will be at some stage of this match. Edwards don't know which way to go for the moment. Now it's Powell, plunging forward headlong into Smales' tackle. Creaser, he'll make progress at the left, and this is a good break from David Creaser. He's gone 30 yards before Ikram Butt gets there to collar him. There's a good double tackle on him, with Bibb involved as well. Gunn, a reverse ball to Matt Shaw. First time I've seen Matt Shaw, the boy on loan from Rydale York. Goulding again. Kicks, but high this time, a difficult one for Bibb. Oh, and he's put it down, and if Leeds had picked it up from that moment on, they would have scored. And really, Ikram Butt saved the pride of Chris Bibb there.
Well, it's sloppy defence on 2 or 3 occasions, and perhaps you can see why they've let so many points in. They've been tackling higher on the neck and then letting the man pass at the same time, and he put that ball down as well when he had all the time in the world to catch it.
Manning's reverse ball gets Owen Simpson moving, and the former Army man has a spirited tilt up the middle. £50,000 signing from Keighley exactly a year ago. He scored his first try on scrum down against Castleford Simpson, and he had a good run then. A few arms swinging at the moment. Tuta showing it and then throwing out a ball which, well, eventually it was picked up. Wasn't really impressive, but Newell's made something of it. But we're well past the halfway mark in the first half without a try. Casey, never much danger of that, finding Tuta, not able to take it on. And another scrum. But Owen Simpson really got motoring then for Featherstone.
Well, it was this run of Simpson's that really got Featherstone out of trouble. They were hard pressed in defence, and he comes up on the outside before putting it back inside to Simpson, and it's now he goes, career inside. Roy Powell shrugs off a half-hearted tackle, and it's only good defensive work for the full-back Horvan Edwards that brings him down to ground.
Good pressure now from Featherstone Rovers. Can they capitalise though? That's the important question, and the answer to it was no, as Gunn drives Leeds clear. Now he passes to Malloy. He's brought it along to Irving. Irving coming up the middle. Simon Irving has done well there. He's still trying to get that pass away, and he will fall to Rose and Fox. Malloy really carrying the fight to Featherstone, and the crowd sense there might be something on here for Leeds now. Still we look for the first try, 15 minutes from half-time, and yet again a pair of fumbling hands. All I can say is it's very cold today, but I don't think that excuses it.
It doesn't really. It's been a catalogue of errors. One side or other gets in an attacking position, they let themselves down, they start putting the pressure on the defences, and it goes away. Just again, it's another situation here. Malloy puts out the pass here, Irving comes down. Now this was good centre play by him, because instead of taking it out to the wing where the defence was all going across, he comes back inside and takes his pressure off his winger for the ball to get away.
Well, that's ridiculous. There's a ball on the pitch, and the other one was in the hands of Ikram Butt, and he nearly tripped up over the other ball. That would have been a terrible way to lose a player through injury. He could have done his ankle in on that. So again, Featherstone have set themselves up in a good position. Derek Fox tries to duck his way between the two tacklers. Shaw and Powell and Gunn were all there. Casey, that's a good short ball. This could be a score. Not for the moment. Sharp was held up. Now Tuta. The short ball for Gary Rose. He only needs to get it away. He turns towards the Leeds line, and he's 5 yards out. But it's on the last tackle. Featherstone looking for the score. Fox lobs it out rather haphazardly. Still they're coming with Tuta. He's got to play the ball. He's got to move it. Tuta, it's on the last tackle. If he falls now, oh, and in fact it touched the Leeds player. 6 more are given, and Trevor Clark thunders towards the Leeds line and forces his way over it, but he's held on his back, and you can see the disappointment on the faces of the Featherstone players. It's the closest we've come to a try.
Well, it's the first time really they've strung 5-6 passes together and kept the defence under pressure, and Leeds had everything to do then to hold him on his back.
But it's a long time since we've seen a game with so few try-scoring chances.
Well, both sides started to create, and once they put pressure on one defence or the other, they then inevitably dropped the pass, and that's really broken it all down. And that's what it really has been the story of the afternoon so far.
Manning, he's forceful, and he barges off 2 opponents and keeps going, and he's got rid of Phil Ford as well, and he's got it inside, and this will be a score for Owen Simpson. And what excellent play by Terry Manning to open the way for Owen Simpson and the day's first try.
Well, a number of lessons to be learned here, because this was a superb break on the outside after pushing off some feeble tackling. Now Ford had him covered, but he pushed him off because he wasn't prepared to go down low. But it's this superb inside pass. Not only that, it's Simpson's inside following of the man with the ball that gives him an easy chance to score.
And it's 4 points all, with Owen Simpson's 7th try of the season. He has proved a very good acquisition for Featherstone Rovers. And it means he's got 5 tries in the last 5 matches as well. And coming up to the half hour, If Fox kicks this one, Featherstone will go in front. Oof, he's just done it. It's squeezed inside the upright. And 6 points to 4, and a yellow card has been shown to Morvin Edwards. So, a yellow card. Morvin Edwards goes off for 10 minutes, and Leeds also make a double substitution, bringing on Schofield and Dixon in place of Shaw and Creaser. So Doug Lawton very unhappy about everything at the moment.
Must be said as well, you say Dougie is looking rather perturbed at the moment. It must be said as well that they really haven't created anything, really, Leeds, and perhaps that's the reason for the substitutions and Schofield on now, perhaps to create that something in midfield which will be...
Featherstone's chance, and Fox will go straight for the line, and it's Schofield who's just nailed him. But Leeds seem to open up then and allow Fox the chance, and Terry Manning tries to break through. Now it's Clark, the hooker, held up no more than 3 yards short. Good moments these for Featherstone Rovers, and another score at the moment really would be critical. Which way is Tutor going to go? He'll supply the pass for Gary Rose. Tutor again. Now Fox. Gibson after him. Falls to the tackle. Important moments these for both sides. Featherstone opt to go to the right with Tutor. The long ball out wasn't good, but Ikram Butt has picked it up, and Ikram Butt scores for Featherstone. A second try in 2 minutes for Featherstone Rovers, and Ikram Butt, the former Leeds player, has come back to Headingley and got a try.
Well, pressured was, bad organisation in defence, but in fairness it was a very poor pass, and if you watch, Bentley goes up and slips here, and as on slipping, of course, Ikram Butt picks it up and he doesn't slip up, he scores.
Sweet moment indeed for Ikram Butt, who lives not very far from the ground here, and he's on a good try-scoring seam at the moment as well. What's more, it's his 6th try away from Featherstone this season. He likes going to visiting grounds. 10 points to 4, Featherstone in the lead with the kick to come. A real turnaround of events. Fox looks to turn it even further. Good effort, but it just dropped a couple of feet short. And I think this scoreline is an indication again of what a tight division it's going to be this season. And an injury now to Paul Dixon within moments of coming on.
Let's just look to see exactly what did happen in that tackle. It's Schofield's ball that comes out, and Dixon now starts to take on the defence. He's brought down by 2-3 people. I think it was in that situation there, as the arm came over, it certainly caught him in the face, because it is a facial injury that he's got.
And he might go off to the blood bin. I think he will. I saw the referee hold up a white card, which indicates that he will. There might be chances now. Newlove, who tries to get between the two men, Bentley and Gibson, and he's got Chris Bibb moving, and Bibb's ball inside. Oh, if Butt had held on, it would have had to have been a score, and they're still maybe going. No, that was not played properly, and a penalty given. The referee's absolutely right there.
Yes, he was, but that again caused a serious breakdown in the Leeds communication and their defence, because that was going on the outside there, and people weren't taking the man with the ball.
So half-time at Bass Headingley, but you see what's happened here is that the referee awarded the penalty, which has not been taken, and half the Featherstone team have already gone to the dressing room. They've got to come back. They can't go for their half-time cup of tea yet. The penalty had been awarded, and it has to be taken. So if Leeds have got any sense, they'll put this ball out, then they'll take the tap, which they've got to do, and then they'll try and score. But they've only got one tackle in which to do it, so this is going to be interesting. Goulding will kick high, and he'll put pressure on Bibb. He makes the catch, and as long as nothing untoward happens to him, the referee will then blow the whistle. That is it. There's the hooter. A very unusual ending to the half indeed. But Featherstone will be delighted with the way it's gone, because they've scored the only 2 tries of that half, and Leeds have got a talking to come from Dougie Lawton. They've got 2 goals from Simon Irving, but Featherstone have 2 tries from Owen Simpson and Ikram Butt, and 1 goal from Derek Fox. Half-time here is Leeds 4, Featherstone 10. Join us for the second half after the break. Welcome back to Bass Headingley. First of all, a reminder of that half-time score. It's Leeds 4, Featherstone Rovers 10. And Derek Fox will kick off for Featherstone, and I'm sure that their team talk will have been rather different from the one that Leeds got. Just before I ask David what he thinks the 2 coaches will have said, we can have a look at the statistics of the first half. Starting with the scrums, and Leeds have taken 6 and Featherstone have healed just 4 so far. 2-1 against the head by Leeds as well. And the penalties conceded, 5 by Leeds, 7 by Featherstone. And the handling errors, Leeds have made only 6, that surprises me. Featherstone have made 8. I suppose Featherstone, you might say, have tried to be a bit more enterprising. Well, David, what do you reckon Alan Agar and Dougie Lawton have imparted to their teams?
Well, Alan will still be looking for them to step it up a little bit, but they have played with a little more commitment, and their passing has been better, and the man running onto the pass and the backing up has been good, so you want that to continue. As far as Doug is concerned, I think his team has got to get it together. They are not playing well as a team, they're not linking well, and they really have to start pushing the ball out wide to try and take the pressure off the pack.
Fox, I think he'll kick. He will indeed, and as always he kicks well. There's hardly a better line kicker in the game than Derek Fox.
He's a superb player. I mean, he's an institution obviously at Featherstone Rovers, but he is such a good halfback. He passes well, his timing of his passes is superb, and he's always there and thereabouts to link up, and of course he's got aided and abetted by both his goal kicking and his kicking out of the hand.
So Leeds healing 2 against the head of the first half, and they healed well there for Phil Ford, who's had no running opportunities in this game at all yet. Leeds have not been able to get the ball wide to their wingmen, so Ford has been starved of opportunities. Wants to have another go. But Ford and Bentley really have had nothing to show.
No, they haven't. Both of them have had to make their own opportunities, but that's good to see as well, because that means they're not prepared to stand out. They're waiting for things to happen. They can come in and do it themselves. Ford did it then, Bentley did it a number of times in the first half.
Penalty given. It's awarded to Mike O'Neill, and he has a few words with Martin Pearson. And that's the second time in this game that a Featherstone man has spoken out, have turned to referee Ollerton, and he's penalised them.
Well, that's a silly thing to do, because you know there's only one sort of end to all that, and that's a penalty and another 10 yards lost. It's so silly, really, in professional sport. And
as Schofield puts his boot to ball, Leeds know they're in a position now to do something about that scoreline and get back level, maybe. Malloy. Trying a goal would set us up nicely at 10-10. It's not what Featherstone are looking for, though. Matt Shaw is back on the field. He started the second half in place of Paul Dixon, who went off to the blood bin just before half-time. Goulding wriggling his way to within 5 yards. But Schofield is still out there rather than David Creaser at the start of this half. And here is Schofield now. Irving. Leeds looking for inspiration, and Richard Gunn gets to 3 yards out this time. Roy Powell along the line from Goulding. Here is Schofield, and Schofield whips the ball away, and it's intercepted for Featherstone, and that was critical. If it had gone into Leeds' hands, they had to score.
Well, that was good enterprise then by Paul Newlove, because there was certainly a chances of begging there. There were 3 men on the outside. Schofield spotted that, as he would as an adroit footballer being, but it was stopped, and Newlove really cleared the line, and that was a let-off for Featherstone. Let's just watch this now, because they press now for the last 5 play the balls, and this ball comes out very wide. Schofield takes the man out, it draws them all superbly. Look at that, nobody there at all. Paul Newlove dropped it out of thin air.
Featherstone have worked their way to inside the Leeds half. Sharp, Fox nowhere to go. This is the last tackle though. And well, that's gone right up in the air from Martin Pearson. And knocked forward by Smales. And then he followed through. And Carl Gibson remonstrating there, because he really did follow through. Ian Smales. And the Leeds man who is down on the ground.
Well, let's just watch it, because it wasn't the best of kicks. In fact, it wasn't a man who can kick very well at all, because it's just gone up in the air. But it's waiting to come down. Smales tries to retain himself, can't do, goes to, but it really was an off-the-ball incident. He'd be very lucky to get away with that.
Morven Edwards is the player needing treatment. Smales stands alone and waits for his punishment. And he's been sent off. So Featherstone will be reduced to 12 men for the remainder of the contest. An unfortunate return to first-team duty for Ian Smales. The scoreboard here has flashed up the message, early Bath, and that's where he's going. Morven Edwards is very groggy indeed. Well, that's going to be certainly a blow to Featherstone Rovers to lose Smales, and Stuart Walker is just having words with Morven Edwards as well, and he's telling him that he's got to go for his 10 minutes. I certainly don't think he would be able to answer you if you asked him what time it was.
No, it'd be rather silly to stay on even in those circumstances. I mean, he really did take a blow there. There was no doubt about that at all. And the wisest thing of all is to get him off. And of course, you have an able deputy now in David Creaser to come back on.
With Ford going to full back. And Leeds will make 2 substitutions, because also going off for the second time now is Matt Shaw. He's replaced by Paul Dixon, so the youngster gives way for an international, and Leeds need all Dixon's strength and energy.
Well, it certainly won't help their cause now to lose a player, despite the fact they're in the lead. They'll have an awful lot to do against a Leeds side that obviously can only get better.
I said there was a bit of feeling in the match earlier. That will only have been intensified by that incident, and you can sense it with the crowd as well. They're really roaring. Gunn, Schofield, Dixon. And a tangle of arms and legs. And the ball emerges for Schofield to send Powell driving forward. Still he goes, Roy Powell, as industrious as ever. Schofield, oh, he slipped his man, beautifully done. Phil Ford comes up into the line, and Phil Ford gets his man John Bentley over. Try for Leeds. Bentley the scorer, and immediately Leeds have taken toll of the extra man.
Well, it's not so much the extra man as the sort of enthusiasm and commitment they've now decided to put back into their game. But it's that man Schofield again who makes the first break, and then Ford goes on the outside. Again, his poor tackling, allowing the wing to come in, leaving his man free. Bentley says thank you.
Thank you indeed for his 5th try of this season, and he maintains a record of having scored against Featherstone Rovers in every season since turning professional. Another important kick for Simon Irving. It's the difference between the side being 2 points behind or being level, and they're still behind. The Featherstone lead has been cut to 10-8.
Well, it was Gary Schofield again. This is a man, but the tackling is poor. Just watch now, because they hold Ford up. Now, because he didn't pull him down low, Paul Newell, then, it meant the wing had to come in and leave Bentley free. He accepted the pass and scored in the corner.
The next score in this game might well be the critical one. If Featherstone were to get it, that would really boost morale. If Leeds were to get it, well, Featherstone would have a real job on their hands to hold them. It comes along to Schofield. He only just managed to hold on to that. I think that's a fair comment though, isn't it, David?
It really is, yes, because if Featherstone can hang on, if they score, of course, and Leeds know that, it'll be hard for them, because they'll be trying desperately hard to keep them out. But what Leeds are doing, they are starting to put their game together a bit. Their forwards are coming up quicker in attack, in defence, I beg your pardon. And what they are doing in attack now is moving it out wide because they see that there's making use of the extra man.
There's got to be a chance here. There are men outside of Dixon. One of those men is Devorty. He's gone for the line, and here's a score. Morven Edwards pops up from nowhere, and the New Zealander puts Leeds back into the lead.
Well, this is what they have to do, to move it out wide to make the extra man, but there was a little more to it than just that, because it was a superbly timed pass. Dixon, again not held by the man, got it away, and it was Devorty's good skill in coming back inside, again taking two men out of the tackle. Edwards, as all good backs should be in support, comes up and takes it under the sticks.
A sliding triumph for Morven Edwards, his third try then for Leeds this season. He scored, incidentally, on the last Kiwi tour against Featherstone then. So they're obviously among his favourite opponents, but as you said, David, a lot of credit for that went down to Gary Devorty. And that makes it 14-10. The Simon Irving conversion carries Leeds back into a 4-point lead. Leeds have it. This fella Goulding is working hard in the second half. He's handed over the captaincy to Gary Schofield since the break. Dixon, brilliantly done. Schofield goes. They might have an overlap here as Schofield looks to create the gap. He didn't time the pass quite as well as he would have liked. Irving was perhaps too close to him by the time he delivered it.
I think he was trying to be a little overcautious then in trying to draw the man right on top of him, a result of which the man had him and really knocked the pass down at the same time.
But you do feel there might be more scores in this game, especially as Leeds pick it up now with Gibson. And Featherstone might well be stretched again as Carl Gibson tears into an opening. And it's 100% better than the first half. Leeds 14-10 in front, needing 2 points to sustain their challenge at the top of the Stones Bitter Championship. Powell, desperate to make inroads. He's a plasterer during the week, and but he really looks forward, I'm sure, all week to his Sunday. Oh, Schofield's kick, fielded cleverly by Gary Rose. You'd have thought he was the standoff half at that point. Did well to hold on to that ball. Fox, Newlove. Now he loses it in the tackle, and it's Bentley's turn to go. Round one defender, round another. And the touch judge is on, and Featherstone have another man in trouble. Tim Sharp's tackle. And another anxious moment for Featherstone Rovers. Tutor, not sure.
Well, just watch how he goes above him, but I don't know whether or not first reaction was that he probably didn't, but I mean, he caught hold of him here. Just watch when he comes in. Suppose it was round the neck. I don't think it was too harsh a tackle. But John Bentley probably won't agree with me on that.
But Tutor walks to the dressing room. And whether Brendan Tutor takes any further part in the match or not, I'm not sure. I didn't see a card, but I think it might just be 10 minutes. He is in fact sent off, and Featherstone are reduced to 11 men. 11 men, can they hold out? They're trailing anyway, of course. Leeds just holding on and looking for a killer score now. A try at this stage might well deflate Featherstone. And Schofield, it spins towards the line. Spins a yard short of it. Desperate times for Featherstone Rovers. Smales is off, Tutor is off. O'Neill is coming towards their line. And if Leeds score now, I think that will finish Featherstone's challenge. They might get it. Goulding, still Goulding. He's going towards the middle of the sticks, and Paul Dixon is over at the side of the sticks. And that's good enough for Leeds, I think. A clinching score. Well, it's too early to say that, but Dixon carries them further in front.
Well, this was worthy of a try, whether there was 11 men on the field or 13, because when Goulding had this ball here, he started to make his own space. He was well collared by players, but spun off and left 3 of them on the floor. But it's this pass on the inside here to bring Dixon on the inside will really turn the tide.
It's another success for Simon Irving. And Leeds stretched their lead to a convincing one, really, for the first time in the match. They're 10 points clear.
Good backing up here because he shrugs off these 3 tacklers, but it's this point here when he goes and slips the ball on the inside. But Dixon comes storming on the burst, takes it away from the defenders who'd all gone the other way with Goulding to cross under the post.
Well, Ian Smales sits and wonders how vital a contribution he might have been able to make had he not been sent off. So Chris Burton sitting in there as well, and he's one of the senior players that Featherstone are without at the moment, along with Clarity. Oh, it's good work here again, and Dixon streaks towards the line. He's going to make it all the way, it's Paul Dixon. An excellent Dixon score, and he has turned the tide the Leeds way now. His second try in 5 minutes, and that surely is it.
Well, a superb combination here because it's just a well-timed pass when he does come to Gary Schofield, but really it's that man Dixon who runs and takes it on the burst, comes and straightens up, and that always makes it harder for the defence. You have great difficulty in tackling somebody who's turning it on the inside, and despite the tackle, he gets over.
He's an international forward with an excellent pedigree for try scoring. He's taken his tally now in his career to 112, and that's good going for any forward. And Irving's boot really takes Leeds into overdrive. They're not going to be caught now. 26 points to 10, and their foot firmly on the pedal.
Determined and straight run in here by Paul Dixon turns the defence, because if you run hard at the defence and then turn inside as he did do, it's difficult to tackle the man. And Paul Newlove chased, but he couldn't get him low, tried to take him high. Dixon carried him over.
Featherstone have healed it. They needed that badly. And Pearson, who's run strongly all day, comes onto it well. He's certainly not given up. Featherstone haven't given up. Here's Casey. And he gets it away. There are chances for Featherstone. Terry Manning's only a few yards out, and Derek Fox has got to get that ball back. If he had done, I think Manning would have scored. He's deserved a try today. Trevor Clark over the line. And the Trevor Clark score for Featherstone Rovers. I think it's probably going to be too late for them, but he always relishes getting one against his old club.
Well, really, this is superb backing up by everyone here. This is the finish of the whole movement. A determined run to the line by Clark. The defence can't hold him.
7 minutes to go. It's 26 points to 14. Fox has kicked only 1 goal so far. He's now kicked 2, and it's 26-16. Casey along the line. Pearson again, he goes to that try line, towards the try line very convincingly. He's fleet of foot all right, the under-21 international. So is Manning, and he's worked tirelessly. Simpson now, and another tilt at the line. He's looked dangerous whenever he's been in possession as well. The longer ball, they've not given up Featherstone by any means, and they've got chances here, all right. Casey, the long pass out for Newlove, he'll make it. Paul Newlove has really brought Featherstone back into it and kept the match alive. It's 26 points to 20 now.
Well, it has to be said they persevered themselves, and what could have been, they must be asking themselves, because they are now putting every pass to hand, and it's sensible passing as well. Bob over the top, Newlove on the outside, defence caught inside, Bentley well inside off his wing, and meant that the try scored in the corner.
And Derek Fox must be thinking if only he'd have scored the try a bit closer to the sticks. But yet again, Featherstone have scored 20 points and look like getting beaten. Could be the 4th match in a row they've done that. Leeds 26, Featherstone 20. very hard-won points for Leeds. They started as the favourites on the back of their victory at Wigan last week, but my word, Featherstone have given them a run for their money here at Headingley this afternoon. David Watkins alongside me. What do you think was the turning point?
Well, it certainly was the Smale sending off. It was something that a little indiscipline on his part, but really from then on he must have known that his side would have struggled. 12 men against a Leeds side that knew and fueled up, ready to come out in the second half. Him going off meant that he went off, then another sending off at a later stage in the game meant that Featherstone were down to only 11 men. And against a Leeds side as rampant as they were on the outside, they had no hope at all.
So victory has gone to Leeds then through those 4 tries, 1 each for Bentley and Edwards and 2 for Paul Dixon, plus 5 goals from Simon Irving. Featherstone's try scorers were Owen Simpson, Ikram Butt, Trevor Clark and Paul Newlove. There were 2 goals from Derek Fox.
Terry, it seems like a case of the same old story.
Yeah, it's same week in, week out at the moment. We've been concentrating on his defence, and we've got to try and concentrate a bit more now. You know, we're scoring 20 points and still getting points against us.
You still can't play anybody with 11 men though, can you?
No, that's right. I mean, I thought we were unfortunate with at least one of the sending off, like, you know what I mean? But having said that, we've got to keep a discipline and get on with the game.
Things haven't quite gelled though yet, I don't think, have they?
No, mate, not really.
Why?
I think with new players like myself, Ellery, Mike O'Neill, Marvin, I think we're all it's going to take a couple of weeks. But I think with the when at Wigan, I think it's starting to come now.
So you're just glad to be still involved somewhere close to the top of the table?
Well, mate, I think we're second today, and I'm sure we're going to keep there.
Now, the day's statistical analysis, it could hardly have been closer in the scrums. Leeds Healing 9, Featherstone 10. Richard Gunn did more than redress the balance, though, by taking 2 scrums against the head. 21 penalties were incurred in all. Featherstone gave away the majority, 13, against the 8 conceded by Leeds. And it was all square when it came to making mistakes. Each team dropped 17 passes. We highlighted the Leeds tackling at the top of the show, and it was an impressive count again today. Mike O'Neill topped the Leeds chart with 34. Roy Powell was on 33, Gary Devorty 31, and Richard Gunn 30. On the Featherstone side, Leo Casey came out top with 32 tackles. Gary Rose made 28, Brendan 2 to 25, and Trevor Clark and Tim Sharp were level on 22.
We start our roundup of the other action at Weldon Road, where Graham Steadman scampered in for his 10th try of the season against Halifax. Martin Ketteridge added the conversion to an earlier penalty. Castleford 8-0 in front. Back came Halifax, acting halfback Roy Southernwood, fooling everyone. The try was converted to leave Halifax only 2 points behind, and much worse was to follow for Cass. Warren Wilson away down the middle and felled by Graham Steadman's tackle. Here it is again, always hard to distinguish between a mistimed tackle and evil intent, but referee Campbell right on the spot, and he was in no doubt. Steadman on his way in the 31st minute. But 4 minutes later, and how often this happens, the 12 men scored. Simon Middleton taking Neil Roebuck's pass. No stopping him. With a conversion, Cass go in 14-6 in front at half-time. The second half, though, with Harkin in charge, belonged mostly to Halifax. Greg Pearce, neatly done. He converted his own try, 16-12 to Cass. And solid handling brought them level. Southernwood, Harkin, Irvin, Greg Austin. The conversion put Halifax ahead with 5 minutes to go for the first time in the match. Then in injury time, Greg Pearce's kick half charged down, and Halifax were able to put the icing on the cake. Austin this time turning try maker. Mark Preston away. The final score, Castleford 16, Halifax 22. Also sent off, Paul Fletcher of Hulkingston Rovers for a high tackle as St Helens win to stay top. John Devereux collects 2 tries as Widnes sweep Wakefield aside. Greg Mackey's try helps Hull defeat Swinton in a bad-tempered game. A David Lyon try 40 seconds after half-time turns the match for Warrington against Bradford. The results, Castleford 16, Halifax 22, Hull 22, Swinton 4, Leeds 26, Featherstone 20, St Helens 38, Hulkingston Rovers 15, Warrington 12, Bradford 8, Widnes 34, Wakefield 0. The top 3 all won. Wigan play at Salford on Wednesday, so Warrington leapfrog above them, and Halifax are up to 6th, overtaking Castleford and Wakefield on points difference. Not much change lower down. All the bottom 5 lost except Hull. They're up 1 place to 10th with their 4th win of the season. Bradford still propping up the rest. Division 2 heroes, David Maiko's try and 4 goals bring Sheffield their 2nd win at London Crusaders this season. And man of the match Graham Sullivan, a try and 2 goals as Rydell York earned their 1st point of the season. They finished like this: Carlisle 12, Lee 16, London Crusaders 12, Sheffield 29, Oldham 14, Workington 15, Rydell York 12, Rochdale 12. All of which means Sheffield stay top and Lee 2nd. Rochdale's point is enough to take them above Oldham into 3rd place, and it's as you were lower down. In Division 3, Hunslet won away to stay top, but this is Fartown, where Huddersfield met Bramley, 4th against 3rd.
Alex Murphy's magic appears to be rubbing off on Huddersfield already. They took on Bramley in the wake of a run of 5 wins in 6 games and were first on the score sheet. Astute play from Greg Shuttleworth, rewarded with the touchdown. Jason Gilbert has been a valuable addition, not least because of his goal kicking, this one of the simpler conversions. Bramley hit back with a Steve Carroll penalty and then enjoyed one of their best moments when that stormtrooper Norman Francis went on a gallop that required a man with a brave heart to stop him. A Gavin Hastings-like shoulder charge sent a shudder round the ground before Francis was finally hauled down by a combined effort. Nonetheless, he'd set up the platform and Carroll was popping over another penalty. That made it 7-4. The two sides then traded penalties, but Shuttleworth had a hand to play again, squeezing in for his 2nd try. I do wish, by the way, players wouldn't score tries behind posts, and that's about to happen now. No blame attached to Gary Senior when he goes over here. Obviously, he goes over where he can, but it was a problem for our cameraman. Huddersfield, though, then home and dry by 21 points to 6.
Elsewhere, Keighley's John Wasserloo is the individual star of the day, 26 points to break a club record on his first appearance of the season. Dewsbury's Dean Hall and Doncaster's Keith Rain get their marching orders as Doncaster slump to their 3rd defeat in a month. The results: Barrow 12, Hunslet 22, Chorley 7, Scarborough 12, Dewsbury 24, Doncaster 2, Huddersfield 21, Bramley 6, Keighley 42, Highfield 14, Nottingham 0, Batley 64. Hunslet and Dewsbury still head the promotion race. Huddersfield and Batley overtake Bramley. Scarborough still going well in 6th place. And now our competition, the Scrum Down Jigsaw. Last week, remember, we asked you to tell us who this was. Now, we thought this was almost impossible, but in fact, a dozen of you got it right in the first post we received. If you didn't, here's the rest of the mystery face. It is, in fact, Greg Austin of Halifax. And the first of the correct entries out of the hat came from Philip Shaw from Pontefract, who's been here wearing his prize, a Great Britain shell suit, at Headingley today. And now, Jigsaw number 2, your chance to win an even more exclusive prize, a Wales shell suit, as worn by the squad against Papua New Guinea, and again, they're not in the shops. To win it, tell us who this is. Again, if no one gets it, we'll have more pieces next week. If you think you know, here's the address: Scrum Down Competition, Yorkshire Television, Kirkstall Road, Leeds, LS3 1JS, and the winner will be the first correct entry received. Scrum Down Competition, Yorkshire Television, Kirkstall Road, Leeds, LS3 1JS. More pieces if you need them next week when we're at Craven Park for the first round of the Regal Trophy. All Yorkshire, all First Division. Hull Kingston Rovers against Castleford. That's next week. We leave you with Leeds' second half comeback, which avoided what could have been a very damaging defeat. Good night.
Down and Stones Bitter, bringing you the best in rugby league.